Hi everyone, my name is Nitin Atri. I happen to be the co-founder for BigRise Financial. We are a financial advisory which is into investments, insurances, and wealth. We operate in about 31 countries. Thank you.
Perfect. So first question that we had just for the millennials, that what is a health cover? How do you define it? And would you recommend that one should buy a health cover sitting today in India? How mandatory it is?
Very well, thanks for asking that. At the start, if I had to say millennials, be it millennials or even if this had to be a 6 months old child, technically even a 91 days old child, everybody and anybody should be covered with health insurances in India at this point of time, barring the event that we've had for the last 2.5 years with Corona, COVID-19. Even other than that, where people have actually understood the reason why they should have a health cover. Even barring that, everybody should be covered with health insurances in India because there's no second thought about it. Uh, Health insurances, life insurances, basically life covers, which are referred to as term covers, happen to be the fundamental uh, pillars of your financial wealth, and to be able to make sure that you don't drain out your wealth because of any unforeseen instance of health. With that in mind, you can't go without having a health cover in India. Everyone, anybody should do it. People shouldn't discard the fact that that there's a child in the house and he or she is perfectly fit, and hence they would not need a cover. It doesn't go like that. Everybody should be 100% covered in India.
I think that's wonderful. One more question regarding just continuing the same one. Uh, like, what is the right time to buy a medical cover? When do I decide? So, for example, if I have a brother who's 5 years old, or a grandparent who is 60 years old, or me being a 23-year-old, what is the right time to buy a medical cover? Like, what are the criteria to decide that?
Sure, Ranak. Thanks for asking that. The right time to buy a cover could also be at the level of a child being only 3 months old. Just 3 months old itself, and all insurers out in India allow a child to be covered for any health cover. When born, up till about 90-91 days to be precisely, is where the health insurers would not allow a newborn baby and infant to come into a health cover. But this is the right time when somebody should be covered in the health cover. So that's technical reason for this. While if I go to the oldest ages, there's a myth in India where people believe that anybody who's old than 60, 65 years of age cannot buy a cover. Or let's say my parents are 70, 75 years old, so I can't take the cover. And they shut themselves in their own mind thinking that health covers is no more possible for them to have it. It's all a myth and it is wrong. We as BigRise Financial also have been lucky to cover even ages till the age of 89, 90 years old. The only reason why somebody gets a cover is only if the medical conditions of that person being insured allows it. So even for a 5-year-old, as you said, your own brother, example for as an example, he or she should simply get into a medical cover, apply for a cover, basis the medical conditions only, he should be let in the cover.
Thanks a lot on this, sir. Now getting on to the current scenarios, where India is right now one of the leading countries with maximum number of startups in a year, and there are massive number of employees who are getting hired, plus entrepreneurs who have started their journey in the business industry. Now, that sector, the second sector is the family sector, like those who are having a family of more than two members, and those who are self-employed. So there are three sectors in India right now. So what should be the criteria, and how should one go about selecting a cover in all these three sectors? How should a family man select a cover? How should an employee who is working in a startup should select a cover? And how should a startup select a cover for their employees?
Very well. Let me begin with answering on the fact that if there is a startup which, let's say, has 10 people and plus, the way to go about this, Ronak, will be when this startup enrolls their people for a group health cover. It's also called a group medical cover. In this, what happens is that as a collectively, as an organization, they can pay for, let's say, 5 lakhs cover or 10 lakhs cover for the employees. Or as a matter of fact, they can even pick up their families or even parents if the budgets of that corporate would allow. One should simply pick up, as a corporate, one should pick up all their employees, bunch them together, and apply for a group cover. Group cover technically becomes very effective and cheap, cheaper than the retail policies that an individual will buy or a family will buy. And basis the number of features that you may want to have in that policy, the pricing of the policy will be decided. So that's simple deal for the group health covers for startups. Typically, 10 and plus is a good group to start with because mostly insurers let you in if you have 10 people with you as full-time employees, and they can let you in. As a matter of fact, they can also do this for their temporary employees. We can also help them, or they can get help anywhere in the industry for that sake, for enrolling their temporary staff also. It's pertinent that we also get them coverages, because if there are workers on the site, if there are workers on the travel, they can't let go them without being covered for a minimum 3 or 5 or 8 lakh rupees as a cover to start with. Coming to the second piece, if there is a professional, who's working in their own space and is professionally employed, the first step to see is that whether he or she is alone working as a professional, or see the overall size of their current existing families. If he or she is married and has a spouse and has children also, this person can get themselves covered as a full family. That's referred to as a family floater. And if they also have parents, there are companies now even offering you extension of your immediate family to even your parents, or even in-laws for that sake. You can have your in-laws also come in, either of the parent can come in, and you can collectively form a floater cover. If this person is individual, he or she can go for an individual floater. So let me explain this. What a floater concept says is, example, you have a 10 lakhs cover, let's say a simple 10 lakhs cover. If you're in Delhi NCR, or you're in Mumbai or Chennai, Hyderabad, all these cities actually demand that the minimum cover that you have or should have as an individual also should be pegged around 25 30 lakh rupees, sitting in 2022, bang in August currently. So this is the kind of cover you should have. But let's say if they now get a family floater cover or an individual floater cover, what that means is, if they have, let's say, 10 lakhs cover only, which is bare minimum base cover, as we say, the floater cover gives them an extension of 10 plus 10 lakhs. This 10 lakhs is what they have as part of the premiums that they're paying. And plus 10 lakhs, the another kitty that the insurer opens for them in case of any exigency, comes at no cost. This is referred to as floater, whether taken in the individual space or the family space, which is open to them on the top. Unfortunately, these kind of floaters mechanism is not what you have in a group health policy that a startup or any other growing company can have. There, a 10 lakhs cover would mean 10 lakhs in the whole year, from where to where you're covered for about 12 months. If you exhaust that, that's the end of it. Fortunately, in the retail space, if you've exhausted 10 lakhs with that same example, 10 lakhs will be supplied with another 10 lakh rupees on the top for, let's say, the same insured person or the other insured members in that policy put together. Thirdly, if I had to now touch upon, let's say, family floaters only, as I was trying to explain that concept. Family floater means that if you've taken a 10 lakhs cover for, let's say, a family of three, husband, wife, let's say at the age of 40, and a child at the age of 10, as an example, say, you collectively can have a 10 lakhs cover. So in any exigency, if let's say one member surpasses the usage of a medical cover in one single year at 10 lakhs, the insurer puts another 10 lakhs on the block for them to use at no cost. This mechanism is called a floater. What better in a retail policy you get another 10 lakhs on the top, which is called as no claim bonus. If let's say you've stayed with the insurer for 2 years or above it, they put another 10 lakhs on the top in terms of the bonuses or the no claim bonuses for you not claiming anything over the top. So technically this 10 lakhs cover operates at the level of 30 lakh rupees. None of these are features in a group health cover. The reason why absolutely people should move out from the corporate cover to even get individual covers, like how people do it in even term insurances in life cover, whatever the policy or coverage they may have from their employer, they still go ahead and buy anything additional outside. That should solve it.
I think that was pretty much very informative, sir. Thank you so much for it. One general question that we usually get to see it online, that these days is it any law or is it mandatory for the startups who are rising these days to give medical covers to their employees? Like, is it a mandate? And even if they do, for example, this is in terms of those who are working in a startup. Now, talking about the entrepreneurs, will it be a kind of a benefit for the entrepreneurs who are giving medical covers to their employees, financially and from the legal sector, from both the sides? How does it help them, and how mandatory it is for a startup to give a medical cover to the employees?
Sure. So not just startups, Ronak, as a matter of fact, companies who have a set amount of threshold of employees within them are required to give medical covers to their employees. Typically, this hovers around 18 to 20 people, that if they've surpassed full-time employees at that level, besides the company provisioning for their PFs and other factors, they mandatorily have to even get their employees covered on basics of health and life covers, right? So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is, I think this is a fantastic help that the startups can give to their respective employees in terms of value added benefit, because at the end of the day, in the last 2 years and 2.5 years, Corona actually has shook the whole industry, not just startups, but almost everybody. People realize that, even the unorganized businesses realize that there is no way they can escape death or an exigency if it is not death. There have been cases wherein employees have come back knocking the doors legally of their companies, only for the fact that they were not well covered and they spent through their nose, during the times of COVIDs or any other exigencies, because Corona was one big event in the industry. I completely agree, and I'm sure you also would agree. It brought a lot of expenses to the industry, and health insurers are also troubled with the kind of expenses they've had over the last 2 years, which have gone through the roof for them. But thanks to companies who had covered their employees, that they were at least covered at certain level through their health insurers, and they played their bit in terms of covering their employees and giving them that added benefit. So with that, it is absolutely essential for somebody to have it. It also prevents a lot of legal hassles to these startups or any other companies who are or who are subjected to any legal hassles. Also, if the employee comes back calling only for simple issues like health covers, right? So it is essential, and it is not expensive at all. It just needs a state of mind that the business owners, co-founders think about it, set up a strategy in a way that their health covers are adequate, and also that their expenses that go out of their companies are not as big, right? So mostly these startups are funded by various organizations. I'm sure if they present and pitch this in the benefit of their employees to their end investors, they always can get a go ahead and a leeway in terms of implementing basic policies. As a matter of fact, you'll be surprised to know that if, let's say, somebody had to just given 5 lakhs cover to their health employees, it comes at let's say, an X price. But if that same employee, let's say at the age of 35, also had to be given above 5 lakhs to, let's say, 30 lakh rupees, which is additional 25 lakh rupees, they shouldn't pay more than 3,000 to 3,500 rupees for this